This might be one of the biggest Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 figure sets I have ever built. At first, it looks amazing. We get Huggy Wuggy, Kissy Missy, Lily Lovebraids, the Doctor's backup, 3 tiny Tea Party toys, and even the prototype. That sounds like a dream set for a Chapter 5 fan. But there is one big question. Is this actually a good building set? Or does it only look cool in the pictures? Because today I am not just building these figures. I am going to test every single one of them. Check how strong they are. See what falls apart. What actually works. And which figures are worth your attention. So watch until the end. Because my final opinion might surprise you. And if you enjoy Poppy Playtime builds and honest Lego reviews, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Now let's start with Huggy Wuggy. And honestly, when I first saw him, I thought, okay, this might actually be good. The blue color looks bright, the face is easy to recognize, and from a distance, he really does look like Huggy Wuggy. But when I started building him, the first weak spot is the lower body. The hip section does not hold well, the legs feel loose, and the knees are not strong enough. And the arms are not much better. The face is probably the best part of this build. I actually like the shape, and even with all the problems, you can instantly tell who this is supposed to be. But the way the upper part connects to the body is really weak. A lot of the structure is held by only one stud. This green thingy here does not really look like a proper bow tie, more like a small random green piece. And I also wish the backs of the arms and legs were covered, because from the back, he looks much less complete. Now let's move on to Kissy Missy. And right away I was a little worried, because her body is almost the same as Huggy Wuggy's, so I already knew what could go wrong. But maybe this time the build would be stronger, maybe they fixed the weak spots. Visually, Kissy Missy is actually cute. But once I started building her, the same problems came back. The legs do not hold properly, and honestly, they might feel even worse than Huggy Wuggy's legs. The arms also come off too easily, so posing her is not fun at all. And the head was a whole separate adventure. At first, I actually made a small mistake while building it, but the funny thing is, after I fixed the mistake and built it the correct way, it somehow started holding even worse. The connection between the head and the body is a little better than on Huggy Wuggy, so I will give her that, but the head itself still feels fragile. So Kissy Missy is basically the same story again. Cute from a distance, recognizable, nice colors, but as an actual figure, she is way too fragile. Next we have Lily Lovebraids, and this was actually one of the figures I was most excited about. Her design is very different from Huggy Wuggy and Kissy Missy, and in this set she immediately stands out. The braids make her look much more interesting, and the candy cat detail is probably my favorite part. From a distance, she looks fun, colorful, and definitely more unique than the first 2 figures. But sadly, when you actually start building and moving her, the problems show up pretty quickly. The lower body does not feel strong enough, and the leg connection is very unstable. The legs also feel awkward to pose, so it is hard to make her stand in a natural way. The arms are not much better. The shoulder and bicep sections come apart too easily. And the most annoying part for me is the head. The neck connection is weak and the head keeps falling off, which is really frustrating because the hairstyle is actually the best part of the build. So Lily Lovebraids is kind of a mixed figure for me. I like the idea, I like the colors, I like the hair and the candy cat, but the construction is just not strong enough. She looks good as a display figure, especially from the front, but if you try to pose her or play with her, she becomes very annoying very fast. Now let's build the Doctor's backup. And after the previous 3, I honestly needed a figure that would not fall apart in my hands. And surprisingly, this little build is probably one of the most successful ones in the whole set. It is very simple. No crazy long arms, no weak legs, no huge head, and no complicated joints. But that is exactly why it works. The The shape is clear, the build feels much more solid, and I can actually touch it without being afraid that 5 pieces will fall off. Of course, it is not the most exciting figure in the set. It is small, simple, and not as impressive as the main characters. But as a building figure, it does its job really well. So honestly, the Doctor's backup might be one of the few builds here that I can actually approve. And here, we also get these 3 tiny toys. I think they are supposed to be Lily Lovebraids' Tea Party friends, but honestly, I am not completely sure, because they look very different from the game. So if you know exactly who these little figures are supposed to be, please write it in the comments. Now it is finally time for the main build of this set, the prototype. And honestly, this is the figure I was waiting for the most. It is the biggest build in the set, it has the most interesting design. And from the pictures, it looks like the main reason to buy this whole thing. So let's see if it is actually good. First, the main body. And surprisingly, this part is not bad at all. The body feels pretty solid. It does not fall apart in my hands, and I actually like how they built the rib cage in the front. It is a simple idea, but it works really well. They even added these little details that look like Poppy gas tanks, so at this point I was actually impressed. We also get all 3 arms here, Kissy Missy, Huggy Wuggy, and Mommy Longlegs. And overall, I think this idea is really cool. Mommy Longlegs gets this long, pink, flexible looking piece, which fits her pretty well. But I really do not understand why her hand is almost brown. Still, at this stage, I actually liked the build. Nothing was falling apart yet, the body looked interesting, and the details were fun. But then I saw how the legs were going to attach, and I immediately got worried. So now let's move on to the legs. The prototype has 6 legs in total, 3 on the left side and 3 mirrored ones on the right. So I will build 1 left leg and 1 right leg on camera, and then finish the rest a little faster. And here they are, all 6 legs are ready. I almost forgot 1 small piece on each leg. And before we attach them to the prototype, let's finish the actual upper body. And this is where the problems start coming back. The shoulder connection is not very reliable. The head design is not terrible. I think the face looks okay, and it is still recognizable as the prototype. But the color of the hat is really strange to me. This pale yellow does not look very good here. And the worst part is the neck connection. The head is basically attached with only a few studs, and I really do not like this type of connection. And yes, this might be one of the biggest problems in the whole set. Anyway, let's build the arms. The shoulder connection here is really weak. It does not hold properly, and every time I try to move the arm, it falls off. To be fair, this is a pretty small figure for such a complicated character. So I understand that it is hard to make everything strong. But still, the connection is frustrating. By the way, I am thinking about making a separate video where I rebuild and improve this whole set. So if you want to see that, write yes under the pinned comment. Now let's quickly build the second arm and finally put the whole prototype together. And here he is. Visually, I have to admit, he does look cool. There are a lot of interesting details, the ribcage looks cool, the gas tanks are a nice touch, but he is very heavy and cannot really stand on his own legs, so you absolutely need the stand. Without it, he just does not work. The proportions are also a little strange. The upper body is very big, but the legs feel too small, so the whole figure looks a bit unbalanced. So my final opinion on the prototype is mixed. I like the idea, I like the body, I like some of the details. And I can see that they tried to make something really ambitious here. But when everything is connected together, it does not work as well as I hoped. It looks cool from a distance, but it is too heavy, too fragile, and too unstable to be a really good playable figure. And now it is time for my final honest opinion. Visually, this set is actually pretty fun. If you are a big Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 fan, it is cool to see so many characters together in one box. From a distance, the full lineup looks colorful, interesting, and pretty impressive. But as actual building figures, most of them are very weak. A lot of them are hard to pose, some parts fall off too easily, and several figures feel more like display models than playable builds. So, is this set worth buying? The biggest advantage is definitely the price. For about $10, you do get a lot of characters, and if you only want them for display, maybe it can be worth it. But if you want strong figures that you can move, pose, and actually play with, then honestly I would not recommend this set. It looks much better in pictures than it feels in real life. But this is not the end. In the next video, I am thinking about upgrading these figures and trying to fix the biggest problems. So if you want to see me improve this whole set, write yes under the pinned comment. And if you enjoyed this honest review, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and watch more Poppy Playtime builds on my channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.